Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Wednesday, October the 18th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses or plans. In order to have a plan in place, we do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we look at what the normal course of the auction would be and set up 3 to 4 main hypotheses. Then we wait for the market to show us what it's doing, then execute the plan that best suits the market. We do this so that we're not surprised when the market does what it does, that we're prepared. We don't have to think about it as we go. We know if we see certain things that we're changing our bias to our alternative hypos. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking out, send me an email, quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, in the pre-market session. Then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are real retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and the trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So we just had news. It was a bit of a miss. Building permits came out less than expected. Month over month was down to minus 4.5%, expected minus 2.9. Housing starts were down slightly from 1.18 to 1.127. Manufacturing sales in Canada was a beat. And 12 minutes, we don't care about that. We've got ECB Coeur speaking at 10:15 Eastern. 10:30 is oil inventory. Then at 2 o'clock we've got Beige Book. Other than that, there's really not a lot of news on the schedule for today. Taking a look at yesterday. Another tight day. It was we were talking about this yesterday afternoon, and it was kind of a combination of a hypo 1 and a hypo 4, which was a sideways day, inside day, and basically that's what we got. We pushed and put on that double top at the all-time highs at 25.57.75. We got the shift of the VPOC into the close. I told everybody to look to the long side, that we'd be putting in new all-time highs overnight, and that's exactly what we got. The overnight session is pretty much 90% net long. We put in new all-time highs in the Globex, so here we are again. I don't know how many times it's happened this year, but we put in a new all-time high, an unequalized high in the Globex, which means that we have the probability that at some point in time, it doesn't necessarily have to be in this particular session, that the RTH session will trade up to the 25.61.75 to what I call equalize the all-time highs. RTH does not like to have the high put in by the Globex traders and have them not go and test it. Double distribution in the overnight with a fairly large LVN, low volume node. I'm expecting at some point in time we're going to come back down into this area and trade through this a few times in order to mature the auction between the 60 and the 58.50. Right now we're holding near the all-time highs. News didn't really do anything. We've only moved basically a point and a quarter, and that's pretty sad. It's just sad. Anyway, let's take a step back. Let's take a look at the macro to micro. I always like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. I start with the monthly and work my way up, work my way down in the time frame. I use a 9 EMA, a 20 SMA. I'm using my toss paper money in order to use the drawing tools, which I like. The uh, the monthly, we're still following the upper channel of the upward sloping fork. We're coming up now towards the upper end of the weekly channel that we've been in, up at the 75.13. You couldn't get a stronger trend than this. This is our 12th month of one time framing up, on the monthly. On the weekly, again, following this weekly channel up, we've got good slope, we've got good separation on the 9 and the 20. The trend is incredibly strong, unusually strong, abnormal. We don't even come back to test the trend on the weekly until we get to the 25.14.75 area. On the daily, you can see again, we've got one time framing up, starting back here at the 9th. We thought that possibly this would, with this one time framing violated, that we'd actually see some type of a turn. We didn't, and we just see one time framing up on the daily. Good slope, good separation, prices paralleling the 9 very nicely. Going to the intraday, well, we were in that consolidation, and it was looking like we could go up, and certainly we popped up and put in a new all-time high. On the 1 hour, you'd see nice strong push up here. Good slope, good separation. A little bit of a technical gap, but the gap close is not big. It's 59 and a quarter. Going to the 30-minute. We did come down and close this technical gap right here and bounced. Great strong trend on almost every single time frame. It's just it just doesn't want to let up. Coming into some sideways consolidation on the 5-minute. So what does that look like on the structure? And I drew this up yesterday afternoon, and I was talking about this. And this is classic. This is classic auction logic. It's very strong in its trend right now. But we come up, we consolidate, we create this balance area. Okay, then we break out a value. They accept that value higher, just above the value area. That gives us our clue that we're going into price discovery. Then we get the breakout day, and we go into price discovery, push it up a couple days, gap up, and then we balance out for 2 days, accept value higher, 25.31.75, gap up again, come up, and then the first few days we create this balance up here. We first started creating it at 45.75 the first 2 days. Then it shifted up to the. In fact, let me show you. Better to show this to describe it. You see that the first 3 days we had the 45.75. I think it was actually 4 days. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I want to move this one. Yeah, it was the first 4 days. We create that value at 45.75. And if you remember that we were watching for the shift from that 45.75 to the 48.75, 49 area in order to confirm continuation. We got that, and the VPOC shifted up to there on this day right there. That confirmed that we were going to move higher. And then we go up, and the value area high of this overall, let me just get rid of a couple of these right here. Oh, I got rid of the wrong one. Doesn't matter. Redraw it. So I'm not crazy about the drawing tools on IRT. So we create this this balance, shift the value from 45.75 up to 49, and then we push it higher, and value shifts up to 53, and then we hold that 53, and then in the last 2 days, yesterday we got the another shift of value up. The last 2 days, the highest traded price is the 55.50, and that confirms the continuation. And this is just value rising, okay, as we continue this price discovery. The sellers have not found anywhere that they want to defend yet, and this is just one slow grind up. Now, is this a normal market? Absolutely not, because of the fact that it's just a slow grind up. There's no selling on extremely low volume. Even looking at yesterday's volume, it was pathetic, and we're just grinding up. Taking a look at the levels, there's not much to guide us. I mean, we've got the 57.75, the previous all-time high. I expect that to be tested again, but we have to be prepared that we could get a gap and go day again. And I'm starting to look for where a blow-off top is going to show its face. I wouldn't call this a blow-off top because it is just a slow grind. But when they pull the rug out, they're going to pull the rug out, and there's going to be opportunity to short this, because we're going to have to come all the way back into this area, and we're going to spend, I would say we're probably going to end up spending a fair amount of time between the 2500 and the 2540 area as we mature the auction. This is very thin, and we're going to come back here and probably get stuck in this area. Don't know when it's going to happen. We might blow through it first and come down and then work our way up, because there's lots of repair work. I mean, there's repair work all the way down into the lower 2400s. This is just incredible. Anyway, I digress. Our value areas right now, the overall value area, I'm just going to take this profile off because I don't need it. Just remember that the current VPOC for the last 5 days is at 53. That is just 2 ticks below the value area of the overall balance up here, with the VPOC down at 49. So these numbers, 55.50, 53, 49, and 43. I'm going to use 43 because it's the low of this day. And those are the numbers that we've got to pay attention to, whether we're above or below them. We'll get into that in just a couple minutes. Taking a look at the Keltner, we're coming up to the upper Keltner line, so we can look for the possibility of a double Renko reversal here. If we see that, we're looking for a move back to that number we were just talking about, the last price, the accepted value before the new all-time high at 55.50. It is also the daily pivot point. But we've just got a just incredibly strong move. The inventory is pretty much net long on price and time, probably about, I'd say 90 to 80 to 90%. We got a double distribution with the LVN starting at 60. So I'll be watching that 60 area, and below it, you could get a quick move down through to the 58.50 and chop in this area. So start to transfer our levels out. We have a new Globex high, and again, here we are talking about Globex high, which is also the all-time high. And we have the low at 56 and a quarter. So off of the low, our 20 period daily ATR is running at 10.53. So 56 and a quarter plus the 10.53 takes our upside ATR is 66.75 now. And off of the current, and again, I'm saying current because this could change. We could put in another all-time high. We're still near the highs, but off the current Globex high, 1251 and a quarter is our downside daily ATR. And we have an LVN zone that runs from 60. Let's call it 59.75 down to 58.50. So 59.75 is where it starts, and then really we got to be looking down to the range high and the prior all-time high, and this is. I'm not gonna try to write it. I'm running out of time here. And then below that, we want to be targeting the naked VPOC and the naked close. The LVN is at the Globex low from yesterday. This little LVN at 56 and a quarter. Below that, we're going to be looking at that 55.50. I'm actually going to use 55 because of the fact that it's got the mid, the VWAP, and just one tick below is the range, the open of the RTH session, which just happened to be the same as the open the prior day at 54.75. And then the value area low down at the 53.75. Actually, I'm going to make that a target today because I don't think the value area is going to be as important as, you know what, I'm going to shift this down. It is going to be a trade area. It's going to be 53 because of the fact that that 53 is the VPOC for the last 5 days. And then below that, the 52 and a quarter, but I'll be targeting the 50.75. And I move back down into the bigger balance down here at the 49.50, 49, 48.75, lot of stuff down there. So in terms of hypotheses, we're trading 3 ticks from the all-time high right now. Market just doesn't want to go down. We're probably going to put in another Globex all-time high before we get to the RTH session. So Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 are going to be, continuation. Usually I'll put Hypo 3 as my gap and go, but we're going to have a fairly large gap here. So I'm looking for Hypo 1, an open auction out of range, a move down into the 59 to 57.75 area, possibly even dipping down to the VPOC, but finding initiative buyers and rotating us up and going and putting in new all-time highs and continuing up. Hypo 2, which again, I know it's difficult, but it's got equal weight, is going to be a gap and go day. Failure to take out the gap. Let's see if we opened right here at 61 and a quarter, and our half gap is going to be 59 and a quarter. And it's approximate right now because I don't know where we're going to open, but the half gap is there. There's nothing above. There's nothing to guide us above right now. So, you know, there's not much I can target above. So our hypo one is an open auction out of range. A move down, finding responsive buyers somewhere near the range high or the VPOC, and rotating us up and moving into new all-time highs. I'm not expecting a lot of range today, but it's a possibility. The hypo 2 gap and go, failure to close the gap, initiative buyers step in right away, go in and put up new all-time highs, chop around in the lower 60s, push up into the daily ATR, and then start to drift back down towards that 61, 62 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is an open auction out of range. Put in equalize the all-time high, put in a new all-time high, find responsive sellers somewhere between the 61 and the 65 area. Rotate us down into the half gap, chop around in the 59 area, and then push down through and come back down into yesterday's range, chop around with maybe a late day probe down into that 53 and closing somewhere between 53 and 55. Those are my main hypotheses. The other hypo alternative is we, put in a new all-time high or equalize that high, and then just go sideways in a tight range, but holding above the prior day, just fighting this range high. It's crappy trading. It's hard to have solid, probabilities or hypotheses, at this level when this market just doesn't want to let up. Going to gold. Gold has failed to hold the 1300s yet again, and we failed to hold I was said to watch the 85. If we didn't hold the 85, to look for them to come down into the 79 area to 75 area. We got down to 78.60 last night, and we're just holding here. If this market continues to hold the equities, hold the highs, I am expecting gold to come back down into the 75 area and test the composite VPOC. Key areas to watch: anything above 83, look for them to push up into the 87, 88 area, possibly even back up to the 91. We're 29 points counter rotation between the moves down. We still have room for expansion down to the 75. We may have to even come back down a little bit lower. Gold, I just don't think is going to offer a lot of opportunity today, because it's going to get pretty choppy. But the level to watch is the 83. If we don't break the 83, I'm looking for a move down into the 75 area. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.